Oh, hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, my name's Steve Cunningham, and I'm a guitar player, mandolin, lap steel player out of Atlanta, Georgia. And man, I'm real excited to be playing May 27th now at the Asheville Guitar Bar with Mr. Jimmy and his Friday night crew. I play guitar for a living. That's really all I've done for like, about 30, 40, something like that years now. And blues is, I play a lot of stuff. I play a lot of jazz, a lot of rock, a lot of hip hop, a lot of country Americana stuff, and blues is just in everything. So even though I don't get to play much blues, it's pretty much in everything I play. So I'm really looking forward to actually being able to hang with some real blues cats like Mr. Jimmy and just cook it up. What brought me to guitar was actually back in, I think it was like 8th grade. There was this kid in my class named Dennis who was actually a good friend of mine. But this girl was having a birthday party, in the music room, and Dennis brought his guitar in, and all the girls all day were talking about, oh, Dennis, oh, he was so good, he's such a great guitar player. And that night, literally, I went home. I was 14 years old, and I practiced for about 3 hours a day from that moment on. So I was kind of on a collision course with the instrument, and I'm totally self-taught. And, I would learn, my open chords. I had a bunch of sheet music, so I was learning just whatever I could find sheet music for. Yeah. Kind of, got into a bunch of other kind of music, kind of found jazz and, jazz rock fusion eventually. And of course, blues. I loved the blues. Loved Muddy Waters. Got to see Muddy Waters live back in the early 80s. It might have been. So on the 27th, I'm going to be playing a lot of lap steel. Okay, and I've got a bunch of these old lap steel guitars. These were the predecessor to pedal steels, and I do a bunch of stuff. I play a lot on lap steel. I've got about 25 or 30 of them. Old Rickenbackers and Fenders and stuff like that. And here's for those of you who haven't heard a lap steel. Here's how it sounds. I played with Derek Trucks. I played got to do some gigs with Susan Tedeschi. We did a bunch of shows opening up for Jeff Beck, mostly up in New York. And Sacred Steel is basically, it's like a black church, musical tradition where the steel guitar rather than the Hammond B3 is the main instrument. So I got a lot of my stuff from there. I do a lot of shows. Based out of Atlanta, where it's called Home by Dark Productions, and we back up prominent singer-songwriters, mostly from the Nashville area, but really from all over the country. And the styles really vary. These shows are they're very well produced. Get really big crowds to come out here and hear artists whose music they're not totally familiar with. You know what I mean? So I have music libraries throughout the country that will pay me to write like a bunch of, I'm sort of, for a lot of guys out of LA, I'm sort of like their default Southern specialist, because of all the slide stuff I do and whatever, dobros and whatnot. Back in the late 90s into the 2000s, I was doing a lot of sessions. And I would say 80%, 90% of what I was doing were TV commercials. Y'all probably heard me, on a Burger King commercial or NFL promos or, Ford F-150s, or I remember I did a band roll-on commercial that was huge. So there, I can put that on my tombstone, right? Um, but anyways, that kind of stuff. And I was doing records and stuff too, and some movie soundtracks, but mostly doing that. I play a lot of like kind of hip hop, funk, R&B, soul kind of stuff. And where there might not be a ton of guitar solos, I'm improvising, a lot, just in the rhythmic, how I comp, how I play rhythm. And it's really one of my favorite things to do, is playing with just like a killer rhythm section and just laying in the pocket and grooving. I mean, that's just, you know, um, that's a real special thing, when you're living in the pocket with really good players, and just letting the music breathe. And I've got, a couple hundred YouTube videos of me playing a lot of different styles. So I spend a fair amount of time doing that. I get a lot of that's where I get a lot of students from, is from my YouTube videos. I've got students, you know, right now. I mean, I got guys from like Austria, England, Portugal, Australia. The blues should mean a lot to everyone, unless you're like living in a cave someplace, or strictly listen to, pre 19th century music, because blues is in everything. I know.